Well, hello. Welcome back to another game match. I'm Alan.
This is Steven.
And we're happy to have you guys here. So, you've seen one video, you've seen them all, but if anyone's watching this as their first video, we're going to roll off D4 to see which of the Seekers we start with versus each other. And these are pre-made decks by Earthborn Games. So you can see it. They're both the same deck. We've shuffled them, so I didn't take a look at what it was, but they're going to be the same deck. They were created before it went to the GameFound campaign, which is like Kickstarter, which it succeeded. Late pledge is either now happening or is done and happened, depending on when you're watching this video. But yes, it hopefully will release at the beginning of 2027. January is its hopeful release date. Could be sooner. I would worry more about just the fact that it'll come out when it comes out, because they're going to do it right. At least that's my faith in it. We starting off, we're going to roll to see which ones we get, and then roll to see who goes first. You got 3.
So I've got Goldie.
Nice. And I have 2, so I'll be chairman. And then for first turn, I got a 2. And you got a 3. So you will be the first turn starting player there. Okay. Start off with our 5 cards. We'll pick any that we want to put to the side, draw more, and then I think I will do 3. So I put 3 to the side, draw 3, and then shuffle these 3 back in. How many did you mull?
2.
Nice. So for those of you that are still watching us, I want to give a big shout out and thanks for putting up with us for this long and continuing to put up with us as we go forward. Hopefully can at some point get enough time between work, raising a family and whatnot to reach out and get to the community a little more and get maybe an idea for 2 like equally balanced decks that we could like print out and try to play with more than just the preset decks. But for now, these will do. So the first of the 3 actions is to you, Steven.
Alright. So for my first action, I think I am going to...
And of course, for those of you that are kind of learning as you go along with us, the first action of the game cannot be to delve.
There in my comments.
Okay. Okay. I will stage a card here. And then I will, as a free action, do that. Build it for 2. And then after this card is forged, which I just forged it, stage 1 card. So I will stage another card. stage that one there. And then I will draw a card off the Telemon cluster. And in case people were wondering why I kind of forced it so fast there, Chairman Bo Pax has an ability, if you have more cards in your front row than your rival, you could exhaust this card and they gain a heat. So my goal is maybe to kind of force that, because I'm now, even though I'm the second turn player, I'm 2 to his 1, so if he doesn't play in the front row, then it gives me access to his ability, which could be helpful considering if you have fewer heat in your pool than your rival, you gain 3. So Goldie doesn't want to have more heat than me. So it's kind of putting the pressure on.
Yeah, so I'm going to pay 3 to put out Shard Winner there in my council path. I can get additional.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I'm going to immediately exhaust him to gain back 2.
A good call. Okay. I'm going to reveal the Disagreeable Inspector as a free action, paying 1, but then immediately gaining 1 back for net 0. And then I am going to stage 1, and actions are spent first, so that puts me at 1 action before that goes in. And that takes it to your second action.
Alright, so
Or your third action,
yep.
sorry.
I'm going to 0 actions, and I'm going to spend 2. Try and attempt to breach your comments. So I'm gonna go here.
I will go ahead and react. I'm going to pay 1 for a Barbican Gate. So,
And then I will pay the cost of 1 to get through the barricade cost of 1, and then continue until I have breached your comments. I will pay the 1 to add a heat to you.
I have the heat.
And then I will look at the top common card.
You find a Shard Winner. Would you like to pay 2 to delete my Shard Winner?
I believe I have I can use Goldie.
No, you wouldn't be able to
instant
because
window.
it's instant windows, yeah.
Yeah, well, I won't be able to do anything. So
But you do have 2.
I do too, but doesn't it? Oh, it's the cost of.
Yeah, it's this.
That's right. Then yeah, I will pay the 2.
So it goes. Actually, it goes to exile. Sorry.
And that is my turn.
Awesome. Now, because you are going in, there is an instant window after you're done, so you can.
Actually, before I do that, I'm
Yep.
gonna play Fun Run.
Yep.
After I complete a breach on the commons, I'll gain 3.
Exile.
So that's right. And then I can exhaust.
Since you're going into the intern phase, might as well at least get the 1.
Yeah. It's
4. Well, what a fun run.
yeah, right?
Okay, I am. Now here's the question, because it does have an encounter effect. I wasn't paying attention to. The engaged player may exhaust a forged card in their grid, so you could bow Goldie if you wanted. Oh, in their grid. That's not their grid.
Yeah.
That's the seeker. So you did, and that's not forged, so you couldn't. So never mind.
Gain 2 shards.
So I would be at 4 shards. Yeah. Okay. So I was gonna say you could bow Goldie to prevent me. That me not gaining 2 is better than you gaining 1.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's when I read the card, as I should, and use English as my primary language, I realized that it wasn't as easy as I thought it was. All right. So I'm going to go ahead because I do have more cards. I'm going to exhaust her chairman, Bo Pax, to give you a heat. Or actually, hold on. It might be better to delve because I have all this extra money thanks to the Barbican Gate to get the heat naturally and get to see one of your cards. I think that's smarter. Because then I can immediately bow chairman on the following turn because I'll have the first action as the first turn player and then immediately give you an additional heat. Or there's lots of different things that could happen. So let's see what happens. I will actually delve on your commons.
Okay,
So,
are you going to choose to...
well, do you want to flip it before I get into it?
That's what I was actually just checking real quick. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and pay... Four.
Pay the 4. Nice.
So it does have a confront. Says resolve when a player confronts this card. Don't have the additional to lose, but I would try and archive one card.
Yeah.
But I don't have it.
So okay, I gotta pay 3 to get through. Ouchies. Okay. If I do that, what's interesting is if I do that, then I can't afford to. No, it would only be one.
One. Yeah.
To,
So you could.
yeah. So yeah, I will pay the 3 and go to 1 because that still allows me to give you the heat, and I'm at 0 because that's the delve was the action. All right, and so then I pass that. Obviously, I can't pay the 5.
Mm-hmm.
At that window right after it, I'll go ahead and draw a card off of him in case I draw a fun run. Then we'll go down in there. I'll pay the 1 to give you a heat, and then I'll get to see that top card.
Which is an infiltrate.
And I can't do anything because it's an action or a moment. What do they call it? I think it's a moment.
Yeah.
I can't do this until you. Yeah, moment. We all know what it was. We're all card players here, right? So anyway, all right. Can't do anything about those in his hand. Those don't give me the option. So with that, you have a heat. I'll take the first turn player. We both gain a shard, so that puts me at 1. We draw a card. Reset our actions. And reset our board. Alright. Because of those damn Eye Enforcers, I think the smartest play on my first action will be to give you a heat with Chairman Bo's ability. And let's go ahead and draw a card off the Telemel cluster as well. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Is it your action?
Immediately exhaust my shard winner to go up to 3 shards. Then I am going to stage a card in my archives path and go ahead and reach your... No, actually that's it. That's the only action I can do. So I just
Staging is the action, yeah.
That's it.
Okay. to stage a card. And I will gain one there. To you.
Right. I think I'm going to go ahead and continue to delve, but in this case I'm going to delve your council. So
Okay.
I'm gonna move on. I am choosing
Just bypassing because it's tapped.
Yep. And then I'm going to
Or exhausted, whatever term we're using.
yeah. I'm going to choose not to discover this card.
Okay, then I will react. And after a player completes an encounter with an unforged card, they may discover that card. If they do not, archive the top 2 cards of their commons.
Alright, I will archive the top 2 cards of my commons.
Because it was likely a trap. And we have learned, thanks to our amazing friend Frog, that there is no actual like turn order to the archives. It's completely random. You can look and fiddle with it as much as you want. And that when going through the archives, just like when you're going through the council, it is at random. You get to pick the cards. So there's no like, you can't like put it on the bottom or stack it or any kind of protection availed to the cards to that. So.
Exactly. So I'm going to continue, and then as I hit this instant window,
Yeah.
I am going to play, I think, or maybe it's during, but
I think it's when you're approaching. If it says before you breach, that means you're past the end of the window and you're breaching into the council.
I guess then I'll do after I breach, so like, or during the breach.
So you would do heat first. So it'd be 2 to put me at 2.
2 to put you at 2. Yeah.
Puts it to 3. Nope. Yeah, I'm just gonna put up 2. Now you're at 3. No, that would have been dumb. All right, so I'm at 2. So that means you're gonna get to see 2 of these 4 cards.
Before that happens, I'm gonna pay the additional 1.
Infiltrate.
Infiltrate to discover 2 more cards in your hand. So I want to see everything in your hand.
So you get to pick the order.
Yep. Pick that one first.
So you do not have 4, but you know it exists.
Yep. And then we'll check the next one.
You.
Wow. I got 2 of them. All right. We'll check the next one.
What can I say? I'm very capricious.
Yeah. Transit station. All right. Then we'll check the. Okay. So I see what's going on. But I know you'll get more cards drawn in your hand soon enough, so that takes me down to 1 action. And pass the turn off to you.
Mm-hmm. So I can't get through the 3 with the Eye Investigator, so that was why I went ahead and did Chairman to kind of even the board state. He could try to get a leg up with another Delve right after that. And so my question is, do I Delve here just to keep it going? I would need an extra money to really like get an additional heat, which would be the reason you would want to Delve. I guess I should explain that, because if I Delve for no heat gain, then you could still Delve and gain the heat, and that's what you want to be 1 ahead, so you can gain your 3 as your first action on the following turn.
Exactly.
So I do not think I could pull that off with what I have, and it be anywhere remotely viable. So I hate that. So at that point, I feel like the smarter play to go ahead and keep working my board state up. So okay, I think I go ahead and I stage that. Then I go ahead and forge this, spending 2 to go to 0, and then gaining 1 to go back up. And pretty happy about that. With that being the case, I then turn it back over to you. So I foresee, like I was saying earlier, because of that, I foresee a delve followed by the immediate gain 3 action on the following turn. Well, no, because you would actually, yeah, because you're out of money. I wasn't thinking about money.
Well, I'm going to stage card here.
I don't know, let's see, you would need 3.
And exhaust for my action, or well, my action I guess would be
to stage, but yeah, your free action, your instant action speed,
and then that's it. That's all I can do. Stage the card. I'm at 0 actions, so we are going to
reset the board.
Everyone, unexhaust everyone that's on our board.
Gain our 3 actions back.
Yep. We're gonna gain
1 money and 1 card. And then you become the first turn player.
I am going to immediately try to force your hand by playing smooth handoff. I'm going to lose 1 heat, so down to 1 and draw a card. And that is an action, so like that is the action that I am spending for my turn. It's going to immediately go into exile, but that puts me, you know, right now ahead in terms of heat, so hopefully it forces you to have to do something drastic.
I think it does. Alright. So, definitely gain a money there. Let's go to 3. I'm going to go ahead and look into my future here and here. Drawing 2 cards. And then I am going to, as my action, do a delve on your commons. Do you have anything in the instant window here? Okay, I am going to confront it. I'll exhaust this card and give it -2 obstacles, so it's only going to cost me 1 to pop over it. So then I'll pay 1 to pop over it, and then pay 2 for the heat to bring you back up to 2. And then look at the top 2 cards there. So I see a shard winner, which I have no money. And I see him, which I wish I had 3 so I could claim him. But I see he's 2 down, so that's good. That's good.
You know he's somewhere.
And as you saw the fun run that I had in my hand when you looked last turn, I will gain the 3 off of that to at least balance the game back and make it slightly worth my while that I had to go that deep just to get into it.
Yeah.
So that feels a little better because of the fun run. But yeah, that pretty much used up my board state just on my first action, so it's to you.
Alright, well, I'm going to exhaust my shard winner yet again to go up to 4. And I am... I really want to do something to this disagreeable inspector, so I am going to probably just go ahead and just to keep the pressure on you, delve your archives.
Sure.
There's nothing in there. I'm just gonna, or no, let's get some bang for our buck. Let's delve your council. and because there's nothing in my way at all.
Correct. So you can hop.
Yeah, it makes more sense that way. So yeah, let's delve the council.
You'll need 3 to turn me to 3.
Yep.
Boop.
Down to 1.
So there's 5 cards. You get to see 3 of them.
Let's see this middle one.
You see the Capricious Informant. You see the Capricious Informant again.
And then we'll do this.
And you see a Shard Winner.
Shard. Okay.
Womp womp.
Well,
Can't kill that one.
can't kill it. No. And that is it.
Alright. Prevent you from gaining 3. I kinda have to immediately delve again. We'll delve into archives. And so I'm gonna bypass and go straight there then.
Okay.
So I'll pay the 3 to take you to 3. Okay, and then I get to see 3 cards. I think there's only 2.
Yeah. So the first one is.
And I'll discard it.
Yeah.
And then I'll discard that. Alright, well that was the second smooth handoff, and for those of you that haven't been paying attention to our podcast or any other matches, there's only 2 of any card in this deck. So that means I know he's out of smooth handoffs at this point. So
Exactly.
also, if you haven't, good time to plug, please watch our podcast or listen to it for the first 6 episodes. The episode that's coming out with this is our first video version along with the audio, so you'll get to see us as well. We really appreciate all the support for any of those activities. If you have it any to watch or you like it, please let us know. We'd love to hear back from you guys. Okay, so that was the end of that action. That puts me at 1 left. Your final action this turn.
Alright, so for my final action, I think the best move here is actually to do just gain an additional shard and then exhaust my Seeker to gain another shard and go up to 3. So that is all I'm doing. That is all my actions.
Sure.
And then I pass it off to you.
Okay. Mine will be to think about my life because I couldn't remember what this is. Okay. I will stage a card here. Take that to 0 and have nothing to tap out. So we'll go ahead and go into end phase there. Straighten that. Gain 1 and go to 1. And gain my 3 actions and draw a card. You may do so as well.
That's right.
And then I'll take that over and keep fumbling the die there. Alright, so with my first one, will be to stage. Hold on. Yeah. Stage here. Free action. Free action to go to 3. Spin the 3 to forge. And then gain 2. Going to 2. Off the shard winner. And then it'll be to you.
Alright. Immediately exhaust shard winner to go up to 5. Inspector and go and breach your archives. The reason for that is because I actually want to get rid of your Disagreeable Inspector, so I'm going to spend 2 to eliminate that. And
Fair enough.
I don't like that you can just reduce my barricade costs so freely. So, and don't have enough to increase your heat. So I'm going to just double check something. I'm gonna go.
You would if you wanted to Goldie in an instant window for 1.
Yeah, but by the time I do that, it might not make sense.
Fair
But
enough.
then again, it might. Yeah, it's a
6-to-1 decision. Yeah, half dozen the other.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
Hold on.
hold off on that, and then pass the turn.
And I'm going to forge stage as my action. Then forge. Element cluster. To immediately put down another one. And then draw 2 cards. 1 and 2. And I will go ahead and draw 1 more card, and then it'll be to you.
I'm going to stage and forge Shard Winner in my council path, which will give an additional shard. I'm going to exhaust it to gain 2 shards, so I went down to 0, but I gained 2, so I'm up to 2 from the Shard Winner, and then that I think is going to be it for my second action.
Okay. I will stage there, completing the grid.
Yeah.
And it will be to you.
I think I am going to go ahead and, as my last action, go ahead and exhaust Goldie for an additional shard.
Oh, we both have 3. Oh, just 1 shard, sorry.
Yeah. And then go ahead and Dell your council. And since there's nothing that can stop me, I will go ahead and look at the first 3 cards. Check that one.
Found a capricious informant.
I'm good there.
You found the capricious informant.
Let's go with this one since
You found Rory and Bug.
Rory and Bug. Rory and Bug is an interesting.
So if you get 2, you get to get your first point.
Yeah, let's do it. Got 2. Use.
I was debating on putting him there or the card that I did put there, so I wasn't sure. So
I'm just seeing you like build like forge, and then I'm like, but you're also like picking up so many cards along the way that it's like he's got to have one seeker in there, right? So, but that was the end of our round. So we are going to set ourselves back up for 3 actions, gain ourselves 1 shard.
Draw 1 card.
Draw 1 card. Exhaust. 1. So what's really nice is that now that I have 2 shard winners, I'm going to immediately exhaust to gain 4 shards and go up to 6. And then I'm going to go ahead and stage 1 card. And pass the turn.
Alright. So, first things first. Disagreeable Inspector number 2.
Lovely.
And then go 0. Then gain 2. Go to 2. Gain 1. Go to 3. Draw a card. Draw a card. And draw a card. It's like I'm looking for something. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Go ahead and gain 1 there. Go to 4. Then I will delve on your commons.
Okay.
Or council, sorry.
Okay.
And also highly suggest these playmats as you get used to all the terms in the game, so you can like look at your on for.
Yeah. Yes. For anyone that sees, you got your council right here, and then you got your commons, and then you got your archives. So like a lot of times, those that are new, right, as we're delving, right, we delve in a lane. So you got your archives lane, your council lane, your commons lane. So again, your archives is going to be your discard lane. Your council is going to be your hand, and your commons is going to be your deck. So for those that are card players, that is what we're talking about. But that is, you said you're delving on council, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I will stop at the first one and pay 2 to destroy it. And then I will choose not to discover. Then it goes to exile. If it was face up, if it was face down, then I think it goes to archives. But I could be wrong. Frog will correct us, I'm sure, and keep getting us on the straight and narrow playing right.
Mm-hmm.
So I will choose not to discover that right now, just for fear that it might shut down my ability to get to the other shard runner and pay 2 and get rid of it.
Ouch.
And then I don't have any money to pay for heat, but I will look at the 3 cards from your hand, which is just 1, which I see her. Engage player loses an action. I could do that, but I don't have the 2 money to spend, so there's no reason to pay for the cipher.
Yeah.
So I know she's there.
You know she's here.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that was my first action.
Alright.
Long-winded though it was.
It was worth it.
Thank you though, sweetie. I might have to start discarding cards now, because with a hand of 7, if I remember correctly, you can't have more than 5 at the end. Discard down. No, that's 10 money. Discard down to 5 cards. Yeah.
So I think this aspect I am going to stage a card. I wonder what that card is, and then
Yeah.
go ahead
Pass it to me with my no money.
and
With my $0 dollar bills, y'all. Alright. Some of those weird moments. Still think it's better to done as the 3rd action, so if that's the case, then the smart play here is to go ahead and kill that to stage here. That's the first time for one of us to actually need to kill a card in play
for real.
in one of our practice match games that are being televised. So that was my action, so it's back to you.
Alright, well, I think it's time I start figuring out what else is left on your board, so I'm going to delve your commons.
Okay.
And in doing that, I have to pay a cost of 1 to...
Also, do you want to exhaust a forge card in your grid? So if not, I gain 2 money.
Is that every time? I thought that was only in which I confront. Oh, so I guess confronting is every time I come across it.
So if I had it tapped for whatever reason and you hopped over it, the
Yeah.
confront's not done. But anytime you're going through the card to get to the obstacle,
Then you would have to gain 2. And what would I have to do?
exhaust a card that's forged in your grid. But then if the Eye Enforcers are bound, I still
Yeah.
have 1 action and I could hop over them.
Yeah. So I don't want to do that. Don't really want to do that either.
For what it's worth, this is tapped, or exhausted, so I can't use it to make that
Yeah,
1.
right now.
So 2 still doesn't get over. Well, if you don't, and you give me the 2, I still can't hop over the Eye Enforcers for Ruth.
Well, I guess with that, I don't really want to go through the comments. I guess I didn't understand how good of a card Barbican Gate was.
Right? It's pretty dang good.
Yeah. Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to go delve your archives.
The 1 ping, I think, is like, I think you'll agree with me, the 1 ping is kind of annoying, but it's that 1 ping on top of the fact that you have the confront.
Yeah.
I think that makes that such a solid card for 1.
Yeah.
And the 4 cost to get rid of it at a 1 cost to buy in.
Yeah. Like, it's such a good card. So good.
I was kind of not on it as much, but I recently been like thinking about it, and I was like, I think this has a lot.
Yeah, it has a lot more playability too, especially when it's like, do you even want to, pay the cost? It's either like you want to kill it, or you just, you're giving your opponent 2 free shards every time you cross it. So, not
But
a
then
great
again,
stake.
maybe in competitive play when we're playing with like fully televised decks, it isn't as powerful. But I feel like it's particularly powerful
Yeah, especially in your front row of any path you're in. But all right, well then I am gonna go bypass the mail collar, and I'm gonna discover this.
Okay. You see a Barbican gate, so I'll gain 1 for the discovery. And then you could choose to pay 4 if you wanted to get rid of it.
No.
So then I'm just gonna go back down.
And then I'm gonna pay 2 to destroy the inspector. And in this case, with how the match is going right now, I don't really want to spend 4 to increase heat on you. I just really wanted to see what was in there. I'm kind of now just trying to peek at everything that you have. So I'm just gonna spend the additional exhaust Goldie, not for the action, but for that shard before I use my last turn there, and then pass it off to you.
Okay, so you're at 0 on turns, or actions.
Yep.
And I'll go ahead and be wonky, and theoretically. So now I'm going to reveal Cole there. He costs 1, but then I will immediately gain 1. If you hadn't have done that, I was going to then immediately spin the 1 to reveal the Barbican gate to protect the disagreeable inspector going into the following turn. Alright. Still think that might be not the world's worst thing. Not the world's best thing either. Okay, I think I go ahead and stage that there. And that spins the action. So then I'll go up to 2. I gain 1. I get my 3 actions back. Go straighten as we get into the turn. And I'll take the first turn. Oh, 1 card. Now I have to discard down. Discard that. That leaves me with 5. Perfect. Alright. And my first action is going to be sadness because you took away my disagreeable inspector to help. So let's gain 2 and go to 4. Man, I really want Ruth. At least even the board state there. Let's gain Ruth. Let's gain here. And there's 2 more. Let's go to 6. And draw a card. Card. Okay. Okay, and then I will delve your commons.
Okay. Then you're gonna pay 3.
Do you want to spend the confront thing to do your confronty option?
Where I lose a shard but archive 1 card from player's archive. No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
And then are you going to choose to discover this card?
Yeah, let's see what's there.
Discover it? Okay. Okay.
just in case it isn't one.
So I am going to add, like, I guess it's. Do you get priority first? Do you choose discover, or can I?
If I've chosen discover, we're past the instant window, but because we're still like we're good friends regardless, I wouldn't care. But we're learning the game. If you were wanting to reveal it, you could pay the 2 to reveal it, so that way he becomes a 3 cost barrier.
Yeah. Which is
the smarter play in that, because otherwise I'm just going to pay 3 and get him
gone. Yeah.
Now.
And then I could also...
If you tap him, I could jump over him instead of paying the 3 and go for Ruth. Because I could at least afford Ruth if I jump over him. Yeah. So you're better keeping him straight as a barrier in this situation. Yes, sweetie? I'm good, thank you. See, that's in the instant window. At that point, I could react if I had something to do. Paying 3 is going to be poopy, but at least I know he's there now. I think I hop out and don't confront the card.
Step back, alright.
So that was my action. It goes to you.
Alright.
I'm good, sweetie. I get it, but I'm good. Thank you.
To delve your counsel, and I'm going to, unless you're going to choose to reveal this, I'm going to discover this card.
Okay, before, let me see. I am good not to, so then you'll come in, you'll discover. You see it's a dragon sword, you can pay 3.
And then I will just continue down until I get to...
Yeah. That makes sense.
I will look at 3.
So we got quite a few to pick from. You have found...
Watery Fairy. Capricious Informant. I feel like I'm the odds of a Capricious Informant every time. Very high. That is it. That is all I will do.
Okay. Then I think at that point I just go ahead and reveal and gain 1. So I'm only going to spend 1 because I pay 2, gain 1. So it'll go from 3 to 2. And then I pay 1 for the transit system there. And that way, because if it's in the middle row, it gets +2 obstacles. So now it becomes a 3-2. Which I think is a pretty good thing to protect Cole.
I think so.
And pay 1 for the Barbican gate there. Kind of set that into motion. And then at least I have some money working towards now, while having some good protections along the way. And I will put stage that there, and that will be my action.
I think for my action it is probably best that I
Well, me at 0, I would say Kaisar is safely able to bow now for his money whenever you want.
Yeah.
But because you have the last action, you can literally hold
wait,
it until after I've spent out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get Goldie. So I'm just gonna do that. And then probably just go ahead and gain a shard as an action. As we go.
I think at this point you quit drawing so many cards, so let's go ahead and kill that. Put that there. And we have staged that. That was my last action.
Alright, so I think in strategic fashion I'll exhaust Kaiser the Rat to go up to 3. And then I will go ahead and give myself an additional shard. Let's go up to 4.
Alright. Gain a shard. Gain 3 actions. Draw a card. Finally got the card I've been looking for. So one of 2. And I need to discard a card, which I do so willingly right there. Okay. And you are the first to play.
Alright, well.
I know 2 where there's 2. Just gotta get the money to get there.
Yeah, just gotta get the money. I feel like, again, I'm not gonna be able to continue to get Goldie. I'm just gonna keep using Goldie to give me an additional shard for right now. And then breach your council again.
Okay.
Instant window. And then I would like to discover your 3rd card.
Okay. You have discovered an Eye Enforcer. So discovery, if this card is in your grid, archive this card. Archive 2 cards from the player's council. So I will archive that and grab 2 from your council.
That is my hand. Ouch. And then I will look at.
I got 5 cards.
Cards.
So are you up in my heat?
Nope.
Okay. So you get 3. You have seen
Another Eye Enforcer. Smooth handoff, which I can't do anything about these, right?
right.
Alright. What I can do. That's it.
I'm going to Dragon Hordes, go to 3. And I'm going to think about my life. Jeez. Okay, I'm gonna delve your archives. Do you have anything before we get to this? I will actually discover it. Unless you want to.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna let you discover it. It says
So,
academia.
exhaust your seeker. Oh man.
Yeah.
Womp womp. Alright.
But it also has a confront that says,
Well, the confronter, if it's in play and I confront it, the only thing you would get is the discovery.
yeah.
And I'm not going to be able to pay the 5, so it just goes back face down. But I know what is there now, so that's cool. And then I'm going to go down. Obviously, I don't have the 4 to turn you to 4, but I'll go 3 cards into your archives.
First card is
Cole,
Sergeant Cole,
which I will pay. Oh, wait, first, Cypher, I have to exhaust a card, but it can be an actual.
Yeah, it can be unforged.
So we will. This one here gets tapped. Then I can pay the 1, which I do. And then the next card, likely a trap. I'll get rid of that. And then after you complete a breach on a player's archives, exhaust this card, archive the top 2 cards of their commons. So let's put 2 more in. And of course you can look at them. So you're free to look at your archives.
That's true.
So you know what I just put in there at least.
Yep.
The same way there. Alright, well, that's cool. That was helpful. And, yeah. So that will go to you.
Alright. So I think in this case, I am going to go ahead and delve your commons. And
So
let you gain 2 shards.
I like that. That is not something I hate.
Pay
1 to
1.
pop over.
Yep, top over.
Then
Pay
3 for that
3,
one.
go into 2. And then for his cipher cost, I'm going to exhaust this card in my archives and then pay the 1 to.
He got 1 use of him.
Yeah. Which isn't bad, truthfully. And then pass it off to you.
So the card, because of that, and the fact that you got rid of my disagreeable inspectors over and over again, which hurt my soul, that I was trying to get, is I will pay 2 actions for calling in favors to gain 4 shards and draw a card. The card draw being the inconsequential thing there.
Yeah.
Just needing a surplus of money to come over the finish line on your butt. So, let me draw that card though. That's really effing hilarious. Okay. Yeah. So that puts me out, so you'll get 2 in a row now.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely concerning. But you don't have enough, I think, to get me out right away. So
theoretically, if you look at board state, what you see on board, actually, I'm gonna crazy it is actually draw a card. And
I mean, it seems like since we're kind of circling the drain, I need to just keep looking at your hand. I think that's the only.
I think so too.
Realistic solution here. So.
But what I was gonna say was, if you look at my play, you see there's 2 there. So theoretically, I have 10, so you could count how far I can get. So 3, 6, 9. I can't get roof for the win.
Yeah.
As it stands, obviously I could do other stuff, but as it stands right now, you don't see a monetary guaranteed board win in my first action of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like. Might as well just keep for the random chance of it all.
Yep.
Continue to look at 3 cards. Town network. Watery gateway. And then calling in favors.
That might be the card that I drew off of calling in favors.
Yeah. Ironically enough, and then second action, I'm gonna come around. I'm gonna exhaust Kaiser X. It just makes sense to do that.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I think I need to not delve you again and continue to gain a shard to possibly make some other late game decisions.
Right. So then I'll go to 9. So that's 11, but I think she costs 3. So I think I need 12. I just forgot about the fact that I would gain 1 for the turn in the calculations.
Yeah.
If I can find the 9. There it is. I'm sitting here circling the drain trying to find a 9 on a D10. Good lord. Alright, that's all straightened. Gained my 1. Draw a card. Okay, we call in favors. So I will still get 1 action after you take 1 action. It's not like you'll take 2 to make up for that. As long as I have the action to spin, it still switches back and forth. But it obviously, that'll put me at 13. And I'll gain 14, 15 in my free action slot. So I'm just going to put the 5 and mark it down here. That it's a 10s spot. 5. And then to obfuscate the chance of you winning, if there was 1 in my hand, I think I should draw a card too, just to powder my hand up slightly. So 15 definitely puts me next action. I could shoot for the win. So
yeah. I guess in this case, exhaust, go up to 6, and then I think I gotta shoot for a Hail Mary on your archives. Actually, I think your archives might have something. You've only got what, 4?
3.
So I think it's perfect. We're just going to skip over.
Okay, so hold on. I might spend money on each of these steps. I am not 100% positive on this fact, but I might. Okay, so at this point, I'm not. So do you want to discover this?
No.
Okay. And then at this point, it's in play. Do you want me to get 2?
Yes.
So I'll go to 17. And then you'll pay 1.
1, yes.
And then we're at the instant window before this. Okay. I'm going to pay 3 here to reveal it. So it takes me to 14. And then in an instant speed, exhaust, that is an instant, during the instant window. Exhaust this card, look at the top 2 cards of your commons, add 1 to your council and 1 to your archives. So let's put that in the archives. Then I'll pay 3 and go to 11. Do the same thing again in the instant window. And then did you want to pay to go up to 4? Because now there's 5 cards. Okay. So likely a trap gets removed. Eye enforcers get removed. And there you are. Yeah. You won.
That was it.
2 infiltrates trying to clog it there.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that was honestly, that's probably like very impressive. You actually had me sweating for a sec. Was there any other seekers in there outside of the 2?
I just drew these 2 with the 2 capricious.
Wow.
And then she was still in the bottom 3 cards.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That was, I mean, again, you saw like how close that was, right? Like you were ready for the winning streak, and I was.
To keep that from you winning, I was really hoping you'd go for the council again, because I've been hiding Garagalaga there
for that whole time.
For like 4 or 5 turns.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see much of a need there, and then when I saw the Barbican gates, I was like, he's got to be holding something there, you know. I was like, it's either one of 2 things. It's either like subterfuge, right? You're trying to, create a distraction, so I don't, so I'm like, going there, and then it's like, oh, but that might have been like a cheap cop out, right? Because once I discovered everything, like I would have been like, all right, then like back to the council or back. But I really liked like how you were so ahead. You were very card driven, you know, in the beginning, and I was very much like, all right, build up my shards, build up my shards. Let's just keep the shards going, and that makes more sense now. But I also now see the benefit in Barbican Gates a lot more. So that makes more sense. And I think like just again, as we've been playing, as we've been evolving in our understanding of the game, I think it's been a lot more fun in that regard. Just better strategy overall.
Right. So thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it again. Please like and subscribe. We really appreciate the community. We're really in love with this game, and we're going to keep this going as long as we can. So please watch. Let other people know. Get the word out. We'd like to grow the channel as much as we can. Not anything crazy. We're not going to... Our goal isn't to be like taking sponsorships or anything like that. The goal is to just be something that's community driven. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate you guys. So thank you for watching.
Yeah. Thank you guys.